Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a DbD Blood Moon event review. The new event is in DbD, and that's about more than can be said for this thing. If you're not aware, the offerings that you would usually bring, like streamers and the ones that increase BP for everybody, do not work with the event currently. And this is supposed to be the event that you're supposed to earn the most blood points ever. So it's already off to a rocky start as we are in this event where the sole purpose is not working, if I'm being honest. Like, that's pretty much the only reason you're playing this event. Now, with the uh, uh, glaring issue out of the way, what else about the event can you tell us, mister? Nothing, if I'm being honest. This sounds very, very negative, and I really don't want to be that way. But there's not a lot here. I admittedly it took me a couple of games to figure out what I was supposed to be doing, and that means that there's nothing to be doing. Usually. For this, you can get a droplet, put it somewhere, make a circle. In that circle, you can lunge farther or be a little bit stealthier as Survivor. Don't know why that's the direction they've gone with this event. And it's kind of making me worried about behavior in the grand scheme of things. Because we just came off of an event of a modifier, not an event, excuse me, not an event, a modifier in which it was just dark and you didn't have a HUD. And everybody kind of hated that. Now we're at an event where you can lunge sometimes. And I don't really know why the design of things has gotten lazier. I really try to keep from talking about it just in a laziness perspective because that's such a gamer thing to be like, oh, they don't care anymore. They just got lazy. They're not even trying. Because this does take effort to still put together, but I don't know what's going on with behavior recently. I will also put out there that I haven't touched DbD like at all until this event, and this doesn't make me want to touch it again. Whatever the last video I was the unknown and checking that out. And I don't think that this is going to bring people back for longer than an hour. Which, the events usually do a bit better than this. Even when it's just Blood Rush, there's usually a little bit more. And I think that's marketing aspect on this. Not the marketing department, but the fact that you put this out here is just like a way to get more BP. Oh my gosh, it's going to make it rain BP. And it's going to be an event where you do more than just do the thing you always do. And it's the thing that you always do. Like, you can quite frankly ignore the event altogether. As you might be seeing in this background footage, it really makes zero difference that I can lunge every now and again further. Especially when I'm playing Knight. The reason I'm playing Knight is because he has a cosmetic that if for this amount of time, I don't know what it is, somebody will probably know, that you buy some Auric cells, you can get the helmet. And if I'm being honest, that's the only reason I got on to talk about the event. And I am disappointed with the helmet. It looks kind of friggin' goofy, if I'm being very honest. It's not for me. Might be for somebody else, but it's a bit goofy. It's big. It seems to only work well with his base skin, base cosmetic. But Maybe that, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That could probably just be me thinking that, so I don't know. If you like the helmet, let me know, but I'm not a fan of it. The reward track, I'm seeing a lot of similarities in cosmetics. It doesn't look like the cosmetics are new. Like the one for Elodie, I think is in there. I say think because I looked at it, I was like, oh, this has to be a Skull Merchant cosmetic. And then it wasn't. Then I went to the store and there's a Skull Merchant cosmetic that looks like whoever's cosmetic is in the tome, and I was just like, oh, this is the end of my caring about that. So whoever's it is, that's that. And then the Oni cosmetic doesn't look like anything we wouldn't just get regularly for Oni. So I'm very confused as to what the resources were for this event. It didn't go into cosmetics, didn't really go into this event. I have no clue what's going on, and I'm kind of worried. And that's exacerbated by the things that I brought to check out this event. I decided to try and get some value out of the recent baddies perks, mostly unforeseen and unbound. And I saw that I got Dead Dog. And I was like, awesome. This window is going to be great for Unbound because it's arguably faster for you to vault through it anyway. No, nada. I haven't gotten any value out of this perk. And you might be wondering about the rest of the build and why I would bring Stabiffle. You're right. It isn't that good anymore. It also isn't that bad. It's just very just like, okay, I have it on. But once I was finally found out that in places you can lunge further, I was like, well, let's do something where you are performing a little bit better with your abilities and, well, lack of abilities, just your basic baddie things. Let's do something there. So I made it so that you would attack faster and run faster after you get a basic and after you vault after doing some injuring, just to check out the night home. Yeah, when it even comes to perks that have recently come out, I'm not sure. Not sure. My faith isn't being, I don't want to say rewarded, but it's not high up there on what's going on with behavior lately. I know that they are also, or I shouldn't say I know, I was made aware a while back. I was having a discussion with Neo, um, friend of the channel, that the behavior, like a lot of the video game industry, had some layoffs. And at first, I wasn't too concerned that it would affect the game. Uh, but I think we're starting to see it now, which that's all I'll try to attribute it to. But I also can't think that the game is so dependent on extra hands that everything else has become a little reductive. But that's just my negative outlook on this so far. You might love the event so far. And if you do, please let me know. And why? Because I'm not seeing a lot to love. This is the same game that we play every day, and there's nothing quirky really this time around. It's just like, oh boy. Do you mean to tell me that the people that were bringing distortion anyway, or Call of Spirit, are going to not need it in places and do their thing other times? And the bad guys who have powers that make it so you don't really have to rely on M1s, you're not going to do that. And the ones that do rely on M1s, you can do it better sometimes. I don't know. For me, This event is kind of a giant miss. That could just be burnout speaking. That really could be. But at the same time, I don't know if it's burnout speaking when I haven't been speaking on DbD nearly as frequently. I think something's wrong, and I want to give behavior the benefit of the doubt that it's because they had to cut a lot of resources lately. That the product closest right now after a major release is a bit lacking. Now, do I think that behavior can bounce back from this? I think so. I'm not going to say that they're going to go down the hole and oh my gosh, DbD, a dead game dead, where everybody tries to do. I don't think that's the case. But I think that they're relying too heavily on the loyalty of their player population right now, which isn't a state that you really want to be in. Yes, it's fine to kind of take a moment as a company and a developer to go, hey, look, we just need to put out something right now until we can do the next thing. But that's better when you kind of just make it like a heads up that that's what it's going to be. Now, admittedly, I didn't watch the live stream before the Unknown's release. I didn't look at it, didn't really care to look at it. And that's probably on me. But the word on the street hasn't been that everything would be a little bit watered down while the company's going through changes. Which would probably help to say if that's the case. However, big however, a lot of the community feels like this before those layoffs happened. So while I've just kind of gave them a cop out right now, if that is the reason for what this event is, maybe it's not. And I still don't think it's time to worry, per se, in the grand scheme of things. But it is, I worry in the same sense you worry about a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. Where you go, oh man, I hope they're doing alright. Nothing's inherently wrong. You haven't heard that something's wrong with them. Okay, yeah, layoffs are kind of wrong, but the entire industry has had, the video game industry has had layoffs right now. Or at the start of the year, rather. And you go, hey, I wonder how they're doing. I should check up on them. And that's kind of what this feels like. One of the events where you go, are you guys okay? You want to talk about it? Like, what's going on? And they knocked the aesthetics of the event out of the, out of the recent chapter release out of the park, barring all the reaches of drama that people really they went out of their way to make assumptions out of that release, which also isn't helping behavior right now. But it'll be fine. Twitter's Twitter. Nah, everybody outside of Twitter probably has no clue what was going on, quote unquote. I don't really care to cover it either. It's just people being stupid and the regular trolls of the internet being terrible people. But how does all that come back to the event? Well, the event is lacking. Because a lot of things in DbD feel lacking right now. And as we get to this end screen with the helmet on it, yeah, I don't know why we needed to perch a dragon that you can barely make out on top of it. I would have liked it to flow better with other cosmetics of Knights, especially after Knight was disabled for forever. So it's just like, here you go, here's something, because you you had that thing where you couldn't play your character for a while. And now, at the time of recording, you can't play twins who, like, two people play the twins. And now those two people can't play twins. And they said, hey, that's probably going to come back. They're probably going to come back eventually. Not next week, whenever, right? Which is another thing that makes me concerned that what's going on where we don't have people that can fix these bugs a little bit faster. We don't have cosmetics that seem a little bit more unique to the event. Like these look like something you just pick up for Oni and whatever survivor that is um in the shop, but it's also it could be Skull Merchant. But hey, that's just my opinion on that. Cosmetics are subjective, so hey, you can call me on that one. And an event where you don't do anything. And it really doesn't make me go, after a while of playing the game, you go, I don't need this many blood points anymore. I really can care less about all this BP. So you need something a little bit better. And coming off of Lights Out, I would hope this would have been better. So how does it get better? I have no idea. But yeah, tell me what you think about the event and the recent state of things lately. I don't want it to seem like this is, oh, the end times, because it very rarely is, but this is definitely, oh, the lull times. And I want to know if you're playing DbD right now. A lot of people that I know haven't really been on, and it feels kind of weird that we're in such a drought of it. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.